So Alberta's voting on separation in 2026. Yeah, you heard that right. Not talking about it at a backyard barbecue after too many pilsners voting on it. Actually, officially, putting it on a ballot voting on it. And the wildest part? Premier Danielle Smith is out here playing political twister while her own party convention looks like a season finale of Succession. Buckle up, because this is about to get messy. Let's rewind for a second. Alberta politics in 2024 was basically a reality show that nobody asked for but everyone couldn't stop watching. Trans rights controversies, teachers going on strike, the notwithstanding clause getting tossed around like a hot potato at a family reunion. It was chaos. Pure, unfiltered, prairie chaos. But here's the kicker, 2025 might actually look chill compared to what's coming in 2026. And that's saying something when your baseline is already political dumpster fire. Because by fall 2026, Albertans are going to walk into a voting booth and see this gem of a question staring back at them. Do you agree that the province of Alberta should cease to be a part of Canada to become an independent state? Just casual stuff, right? Like choosing between regular or decaf. Except instead of coffee, it's the entire fabric of Confederation. No big deal. Now, how did we get here? Well, blame the Recall and Citizen Initiative Act, which is basically Alberta's way of letting people with enough signatures force a referendum. And separatist leader Jeffrey Rath? He absolutely crushed the signature requirements. We're talking way beyond the target. But here's where it gets spicy, the government kept changing the rules as he went along. It's like playing Mario Kart and your opponent keeps adding extra laps every time you're about to win. Classic move. And why would the government do this? Because they're terrified of splitting the UCP. Nothing says strong leadership like being held hostage by your own base, am I right? So where does Premier Danielle Smith stand in all of this? Great question. The answer is, everywhere and nowhere, simultaneously. Smith's out here saying she wants Canada to work for Alberta. She's pinning her hopes on this memorandum of agreement with Prime Minister Mark Carney's Liberal government. You know, the same Carney who just took over from Trudeau. The same Liberals that Alberta has spent years treating like they're the villain in a spaghetti western. But sure, let's sign some paperwork and hope for the best. That'll fix everything. But wait, it gets better. At the UCP's November convention, Smith got up and said she believes in a sovereign Alberta within a united Canada. And the crowd? They booed her. Her own party. Booed. The Premier. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Rath, the guy leading the separation charge, gets up and yells for an independent Alberta, and the place erupts like he just announced free beef for life. The optics here are not great, folks. It's like being the parent at a birthday party who suggests vegetables while the other dad's handing out chocolate bars and fireworks. Now, Smith's government did try to throw up some roadblocks. They recently jacked up the fee for signature drives from $500 to $25,000. That's a 50 times increase, which in government math is basically saying please stop doing this thing we legally have to allow you to do. But here's the thing, the separatists probably could have raised that much by passing around a Tim Hortons cup at the convention. This isn't a deterrent, it's a speed bump. And not even a good one. More like those painted yellow lines in parking lots that you're not totally sure count as actual speed bumps. Transition to broader implications. So let's zoom out for a second and talk about what this all means. Because this isn't just Alberta being Alberta. This is a genuine constitutional crisis brewing in real time. If this referendum passes, and that's still a big if, what happens next? Does Alberta actually leave? Does Ottawa step in? Do we end up with trade negotiations between Calgary and Vancouver like they're separate countries? Does Alberta get its own passport with an oil derrick on it? Nobody knows. And that uncertainty is exactly what makes this so dangerous. And poor Danielle Smith is stuck right in the middle of it. On one hand, she's got to keep the federal government happy enough to maybe get something out of that memorandum. On the other hand, her own party is ready to throw her under the bus if she looks too cozy with Ottawa. She's walking a tightrope over a pit of very angry, very vocal separatists who are absolutely convinced that Alberta would be better off going solo. It's political theater at its finest, except the stage is on fire and nobody's sure if there's an exit. Here's what's really at stake, unity. Not just Canadian unity, which is obviously important, but UCP unity. Smith's government has bent over backwards trying to appease the separatist wing without actually endorsing separation. They've played footsie with the idea, raised just enough fuss about federal policies to keep the base energized, but stopped short of actually burning the bridge to Ottawa. It's exhausting just watching it. Imagine actually having to govern like this. So what happens in 2026? Will the referendum pass? Probably not, if we're being honest. Most polls still show a majority of Albertans want to stay in Canada. But the fact that we're even having this conversation is wild. The fact that a sitting premier is getting booed by her own party for suggesting unity is bonkers. And the fact that the government has to navigate this minefield while also trying to run a province is basically impossible. Look, whether you think Alberta separation is a brilliant idea or the dumbest thing since New Coke, one thing's for sure, 2026 is going to be absolutely wild. And Danielle Smith is going to be right in the middle of it, trying to keep everyone happy while keeping her job and keeping the province together. Good luck with that. If you want to stay updated on this beautiful disaster as it unfolds, hit that subscribe button because trust me, Canadian Insights is going to be covering every single twist and turn. And there are going to be many. Drop a comment and let me know, do you think Alberta will actually vote to separate? I'll see you in the next one.